What's going on, guys? My name is Eldeniro and welcome to another episode of my Leicester City career mode in FIFA 15. We're starting this episode off by offering a contract to Dedrick Boyata, who our bid for him was accepted yesterday by Manchester City, and I think it was like a £1.2 million bid, which is decent because he's a right back in this game, but he can play centre back and he's very strong. And something else is going to be important that I'm going to sort of fill you in on a little bit later on in the episode. But Boyata rejected our contract offer. He didn't want to be a squad rotation player. I had to offer him an important first team role, which is fair because he's at a big club and he obviously doesn't want to make the drop down. Also, our bid for a Goulburn was rejected by Wolves. They just do not want to let go of him, so I offered them a player, I forget his name, Bakayoko or something like that, who is a left back who isn't really good enough for us, and I think Goulburn will just be a slight improvement on him. And we go into our first game of the episode, which is against Arsenal at the King Power Stadium, which I'm going to have to try very hard to not refer to as the Walker Stadium throughout this series, because that's what I know it as. But this is a game that in real life ended 1-1, and I was hoping to emulate the success that Leicester City have had in real life in the Premier League in this series, and I haven't made the jump to Legendary just yet, because the game against Chelsea could have been one of those anomalies, you know, like when you play a game against a bigger club, you tend to just play better than you thought that you could, and I think you guys will understand that. It's the games against smaller teams that you struggle with, whereas the ones against big teams, you can surprise yourself sometimes and play quite well. So I just thought that I'd give World Class a fair go before I'm sure that jumping to Legendary is essential, because I don't want to go to Legendary and then have to drop back down again, because that just doesn't seem like fun at all. But this game was a very entertaining one, and inside 18 minutes it was an action-packed game. I think it was Albrighton there who got the volley that was saved by the keeper and kept in play very well by the Arsenal defence. And as we come up to the 26th minute, the ball comes into Danny Welbeck, who misses his header as it goes just over the bar. We got a really good chance though 3 minutes later with Nugent on the ball. He plays it, he actually cuts inside and plays it into Nick Powell, who's playing instead of Mackay-Steven in that position. I think Mackay-Steven would have done a lot better there, because he could have cut in and finessed it on his left foot, and he's got the skills to take it round players, but it didn't work out that way. And I wanted to ask you guys a question in this episode, because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, so welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're all here. But new subscribers, old subscribers, whatever, answer this question for me. Where are you guys watching from? Where are you in the world? I want to know the diversity on my channel. A lot of people ask me if I'm from America. I got one question the other day asking if I'm from Malaysia. I don't know where that came from, but I'm from Ireland. If anyone didn't know, I'm from a place called Dublin, which is the capital city in Ireland. But yeah, where are you from? As you see here in the 73rd minute, Jamie Vardy had a really good chance, but it was saved by the keeper before he could actually get his shot off. And then we would have a chance just 3 minutes later with Jeffrey Schlupp on the ball. He had support in the middle from Vardy, but Mertesacker was always going to win that in the air, and it came out to Leicester-ban Cambiasso, whose shot was deflected and it went over. And then we come up to the 87th minute as we tried to control the ball on the edge of Arsenal's area to try and find that pinpoint pass that would break their defence open, and Vardy's shot was saved by Szczesny. It was cleared by a combination of Chambers and Mertesacker, I believe, and the ball comes to Ozil, who is a second half substitute. He plays it to Aaron Ramsey, who finds Chambers in an advanced position, which means that it couldn't have been him who headed that ball away. It must have been Debussy or someone. But the ball comes to Alexis Sanchez, who knows how to get round Moore as he cuts back inside, playing it to Chambers, who finds Giroud in the middle. Morgan was nowhere, and Olivier Giroud capitalised on a slight bit of wrong positioning from Morgan, and a very good counter-attack from the visitors as they end the game with a 1-0 victory, celebrating in front of the Leicester fans, the entire team. How harsh is that? But I was gutted when that game was over, because we made a very good show of ourselves, and I think we deserved at least a point from that game. But sadly, it's our first defeat of the season, and our quest to go unbeaten at the King Power Stadium is unfulfilled immediately, pretty much. We go back in for Goulburn. Wolves say that they want 1.4 million plus Bakayoko, so I offer 1 million. I thought that would be fair. He's a championship left back and they're getting a good deal out of it, and Boyata accepted our important first team player squad role, so he's going to join the team, and I think he'll be a good player for us. I also went in for this guy Josh Onoma. I don't know anything about him. I didn't even know what his rating was. I haven't googled any of these ratings. I haven't gone in for any of the players that I saw on a list of players with amazing potential, because I don't think that I'd get any of them anyways. But we go into deadline day, we made a loan offer for that player Onoma. Spurs accepted it, so we do get him in, but I found out that he was actually only a measly 55 rated player, so I don't know if that was the right choice or not. But his contract is expiring in a few months, so if he plays really well, we can make a bid for him in January if he's if he's available, and we'll see what'll happen there. But our final bid for Goldburn was rejected by Wolves, so I just figured, like, that's that. We're going to have to get a left back in January, if indeed it does turn out to be an essential position, because Schlupp can play there. Konchesky's doing okay there, and we find out that Richie Delat is out for 8 days with a bruised leg, which is kind of okay, because we've got Simpson, who I think will play pretty well in that role. But we've also got Boyata, who could play right back, because I think it'll take a big performance from any centre back to dislodge Moore and Morgan from that position. But look what I found out. Just 30 years old, Wes Morgan is already into decline, and this has really annoyed me, because EA promised us that this wouldn't happen. I don't think that Morgan is declining in real life. In fact, I think he's in the form of his life. He's playing incredibly well in the Premier League, if you guys have been watching. Like, there was some games against Diego Costa, like, he wasn't letting him get anything by him and anything. Like, he played really well. Cambiasso has also gone into decline. He's gone down a rating already. Fair enough, he's very old in comparison to Morgan, but I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I really did expect more from these players. I thought Morgan could get to 32 before he'd start declining, but I guess that was just blind faith in everything that EA said beforehand. But I'm honestly very annoyed at that. Like, I just expected more from the game than for players to start declining just because they hit the magical figure of 30. Like, I think it's stupid. But we go into our next game, which is away from home against Nottingham Forest, in what I understand is actually a local rivalry, like a derby match. I think Nottingham Forest are the closest team to Leicester, so this one is a rivalry. But there are some former Leicester players in the Forest team. That Jack Hobbs in defence, I'm pretty sure he used to play for Liverpool and Leicester. Our team, we went for a 4-4-2 for the first time with Iloa and Vardy up front. A couple of people have been telling me that I've been pronouncing Iloa wrong. That's how the English commentators pronounce it, and every way that people spell it that I should pronounce it, like when they write it out phonetically, I don't understand how I'm supposed to pronounce that, so I'm really sorry. I'm just going to refer to him as Iloa because that's what the English commentators call him. But in the 26th minute we get a corner kick, and Iloa himself actually scores from it as we get our first corner goal of the season. And this is in the Capital One Cup, and I would like some progression in this tournament. I think it'd be pretty decent to get a bit of a cup run going, especially if we could come up against some bigger teams and threaten them and knock them out, because I have a feeling that the bigger teams will play with more weakened squads when they go into it. Also, one thing that I've noticed, right, when I went into the Arsenal game, Martin Tyler said he was reading out the Arsenal lineup, and he was like, a couple of changes for Arsenal. Chesney starts in goal. And this is something I've noticed, is that the AI teams on this game are rotating their goalkeepers in like every game, and I think that's really weird. You don't do that in real life. That seems unrealistic to me. But Vardy scored a really nice goal here in the 50th minute, as the pass was from Drinkwater, I think, or maybe it was Matty James, but a really nice finish into the near post. I've noticed that you can hit the ball on the move. The first goal we conceded in this series to Gareth Barry, he hit it on the roll, and it did really well. That was a great save there by Schmeichel. But yeah, it seems as though in other FIFAs, when the ball was on the ground and you hit it as it was rolling, you would never get the power in it that you wanted. But that doesn't seem to be the case in this FIFA, and that's pretty good if it's going to develop that way, because I do like that. But as you see, Nottingham Forest are putting us under pressure here. They're shooting from everywhere. Andy Reid had a nice volley. That was Vaughan's shot in the 64th minute, but it was our turn to attack 6 minutes later with Vardy on the ball. Yeah, he had no real options around him as he took on Mancien and just went for the shot, and a great save from the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, putting it out for a corner kick from which nothing came. And then we come into the final few minutes of the game and we launch into a counter-attack of our own with Vardy on the ball. He has support from Iloa in the centre. Iloa does really well to get into position, but his left-footed strike was nowhere near good enough to hit that top corner. And we end the game with a 2-0 victory, which I'm satisfied with. It was a relatively difficult game. Nottingham Forest ended with the lion's share of possession, 57% possession, but we had more chances. We played better on the counter, as Leicester do in real life. We might not have passed the ball as well as we should have done, but we were playing in the rain, and the rain has always been a hindrance to my style of play. So I don't know, I'm quite excited for the rest of the season. We'll see how we get on in the games against Stoke and Crystal Palace in particular before we go about making the jump to Legendary, because I'm just not sure it's essential just yet for the enjoyment of this series. But I'm enjoying playing this series. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying watching it. If you are, please hit the like button. It would be absolutely awesome if you could do that. It really does help the channel grow, and it's kind of essential in these early stages of a FIFA game, and just it would just be awesome. We got 1,000 on episode 1. If we could get anything close to that, that would be unbelievable. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.